of your head. So utilizing this time to really get to know things about your kids that maybe you haven't, because in the hustle and bustle of life, we don't really get a chance to talk to our kids a lot. So finding out kind of what they like, what they don't like, what they've been afraid of that you didn't know that's just now coming out. So these are some things that we're going to try to talk about doing to help with our youth. So these are 6 things that we're going to really focus on during the crisis. So we're going to talk about each of these 6 bullets. They're being calm and reassuring, being honest, keeping a routine, managing time, teaching self-care, and staying connected. So the first one is being calm and reassuring. As parents, you know, like Ms. Beeman said, we're trying to hold it all together, and we are the rock for our children. So we need to make sure that we, as best we can, manage our anxiety levels, staying calm, because children feed off of us. And they model what we do. So if they see mom falling completely apart in a state of crisis, sometimes that's the behavioral pattern that they pick up. Sometimes that this is what happens. Everything's going wrong, and so I just sit on the floor and I cry. So as best you can, I know it's difficult, try to stay calm yourself, manage your anxiety, and just be a good influence. Try to be as reassuring as you can. I put hugs are scarce. We can't see each other. We can't go over, you know, to the church and hug. Miss Phyllis and I hug all the time. I miss my hugs. So if you're living in the house with somebody, please give them a hug because they're not getting them anywhere. Hugs are very reassuring. And speak life. You know, Proverbs says life and death is in the power of the tongue. So speaking to your children that we are okay, we are fine. We are going to get through this. God is with us. We are staying in the house. We're doing what we're supposed to do. You know, everything's going to be fine. Instead of speaking that, oh God, it's a pandemic, everybody's going to die. You know, speaking life to your children.
Yes.
Next one is being open and honest. As I was saying before, talking to your kids, getting to know them, and having conversations with them. Having hard conversations can actually help quiet the stress that kids are experiencing, because a lot of times the scenario that's going on in their head is way worse than it is. If you look at the news, you would think that all of us are going to drop dead tomorrow, because that is how the information is presented. So being honest and having honest conversations with them about what's really going on. Yes, there is a virus. Yes, it's highly contagious. Yes, some people get really sick and have to go to the hospital, but there are many people who catch it like the flu, have it for a couple of weeks and recover. But being honest and open and knowing that they can come to you if they have questions about anything, and telling them only what they need to know. I think I said in a recording a couple of weeks ago, don't overflood yourself with information. Just pick one source of information and watch that one source. I watch once a day. Every time my phone bleeps and somebody's on the news, I do not watch it. I choose once a day to get the information for that day, because again, you will become overwhelmed if you continue to feed yourself all that the media is telling us. And they're telling us a lot of things that we don't necessarily need to know. I just need to know what I need to do to stay safe. I don't need to know all the numbers, the statistics, the death toll. I don't need to know that. I just need to know what North Carolina is telling me to do for me. Any questions, comments?
One of the first things that I wrote down was prepare yourself. Don't have a conversation and provide misinformation to your children. The first thing, just like you said, one source, and please make it a reliable source so you get the right information, and write some notes if you have to. But make sure before you start the conversation that you know what it is that you're talking about, so that you can reassure them. Just like you said, they don't need to know statistics, but what they do need to know is just what you said, the things that I've just seen on the PowerPoint. What are some of the symptoms? But it has to be done in a calm way so that they know that you are the person that they're looking for to provide them with information, as well as letting them know that I'm going to do everything I can to keep you safe, and healthy. That's my job. And that's what we're going to do in this house. We're going to keep you safe and healthy, no matter what you see on TV, no matter what you hear other people saying, all these things about, who cares how it started? This is me. Who cares how it started? I need to know how to handle it now, because that's already in the past. I can't do anything about who started it, but I can do something about how I'm going to handle it from now on, and how I'm going to keep you safe and healthy. And if they understand that about you, all the information is just helping them learn how to find out things that really happen in the real world. And this is the other thing I want to say. Do you know that whatever's going on now is going to be written about in history books?
Yes, it will.
If your children have children and they go to school, they're going to learn about what it is you went through. How are they going to look back to say, my mom, but grandmom or my aunt or my dad, this is what we did in our family to keep ourselves safe. So there were a lot of things going on in the world, but in our family, we were safe and we were healthy. Even if, you have them write their own little history book and let them know this is going to be history. You're going to be part of the people in this country that survived this pandemic. So let's identify, what are we going to do to keep safe? And maybe if they buy into what the things that you tell them, it's easier to say, well, I can't go to my friend's house and play anymore. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to the park. I can't go. But if they know that the reasons that you're doing this is that you're keeping them safe and healthy, and so that they survive and be able to read about these things in their future.
Yeah,
that's good, Miss Dodd. That's real good. I didn't even think about that. That we are part of history now. Majority of my school years, I've always read about history or things that happened to us in history. But now I am a part of actual history lessons. That's good.
Yeah, and they are. And that's the key there. It's not just grown-ups are going through it. They are actually going to go through this, and they're going to be able to read about what was going on when they were young people. And that's an important thing to know, that it's not just some, it doesn't happen to somebody way out. I told somebody, what's her name? The Jewish young lady who did the diary of Anne Frank. When she was writing a diary, she wasn't writing it thinking it was going to be part of history. She was just writing a diary, letting herself know what it was like to live through living 2 or 3 years in an attic, trying to survive the Nazis who were trying to kill all of her folks. But maybe our kids need to write a diary too. What's it like for them to go through this? Some journaling might help grown-ups too. Put some things down on paper and get them out of you and put them down, so that maybe next year you'll look at what you went through and say, God brought me through something else again. Look at that. He's brought me through some really rough times, but nothing like this. But look what God did and helped us to survive again.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So that was good. I love participation. So next is keeping a routine. I know my parents do not want to hear me say that, but it's so true. And I put in capital letters, research, not just Vanessa, but research says that children benefit from schedule and productive activities. When they know what to expect and they know what's next and they know that this won't last always, later on in the presentation, I have a sample schedule. And what Trinity liked about it was she could see that we're only going to do this for this long, and then the next thing comes. And that was what happened in school. You're in this period, and then you go to the next period, and then the next. So you have some ability. Routines help both the kids and the adults remain grounded. For those of us who are working at home with our children, we have to try to teach them a schedule, because I have to be on my computer doing work at the same time that she needs to be doing things. So as we get grounded in the schedule, we can see that this is time where I need you to be doing X, Y, and Z because I'm on the phone or I'm on the Zoom or I'm doing this. And then we'll have a break and we'll get together for lunch. And then we'll go back. But it helps to keep everybody grounded. Everybody knows what to expect. Hopefully we're not yelling at each other because we know mommy's working from 9 to 11. That's her work time. And then after 11, she'll take a break. She'll come and see me. She might have to go back, but that keeps everybody grounded. And then spending time in nature also has positive effects on physical and mental health. I know the pollen has been crazy, so it's hard to go outside, but anytime that you can get outside is really good. Trinity and I took a day drive this week up to Mount Mitchell. So we just rode in the car. We went to as far up at the mountain as they would let us go because the actual park was closed, and just sat outside in the grass and looked up, at the beautiful mountain scenery just so we could do something different. But if you can get outside, get outside. I have neighbors across the street who are friends, and they walk with their social distancing. They go up and down their driveway about 5 or 6 times, and I see them out there talking to each other. So if you can get out at all, that definitely will help. And put that in your routine. Managing screen time. So these are uncertain times. So extra screen time, doesn't hurt. We know that they're going to be on the computers and the iPhones and the iPads a little bit more than normal, and that's okay. But we don't want to let their screen time be unlimited. They should not just be on the computer or watching TV all day and all night. And for me as an educator, I say that because I don't want kids to get out of a sense of routine. And if we let them have unlimited screen time now until the traditional end of the school year, then we start the summertime, it's going to be real hard getting them back in the swing of things if we are to go back to school in August. So finding other things, and on the sample schedule, I'll show you other things to fill that time. Having crafting time, having puzzle time, just to break up that monotony of being on the computer all the time. We got to find some other things that we can do. And then we as adults too, we have to manage our devices. My daughter told me that I'm on the phone a lot. When we eat dinner, I'm on the phone checking my email, and I am sometimes. So I had to make a conscious decision. I need to put my phone away sometimes. I need to detach, because every time an email comes from work or whatever, I check it no matter what time it is. And I've got to get out of that habit. So we as adults have to model that behavior to our children too, that we've got to manage our use of devices. Teach and practice self-care. So we always need to take care of ourselves. I'm the biggest advocate you can find of self-care. And I hate it when people diminish self-care to going to get your nails done. It's more than that. Self-care, in my opinion, is what you're intentionally doing to nurture yourself. And that can be spiritually, physically, emotionally, whatever it is. My self-care sometimes is sitting in the bathroom and listening to my favorite music because it just centers me and it grounds me. I ain't spent $1, I ain't went nowhere, but it helps me. So you have to practice self-care and teach your children to do that too, so that they don't become so overwhelmed in life that they can't stop and do some things that make them feel good. What else did I want to say about this? Oh, and examples. So do you all have any examples of things that you do for self-care?
Mine is music. There are just times when I don't want the TV to be on. I need the music. I need to, and I have a favorite window that I just kind of just gaze out of because I just need, it just helps me feel connected. I can't be, especially with the pollen count, I haven't been able to get outside. Look, I've got trees around, there's some flowers growing, but there's just music and not, for me, not music with lyrics. I just need to hear the music, listen to the instruments, sometimes just close my eyes and just breathe. To just breathe. I don't knit or crochet or sew. I'm not a painter or any of those things, but you have to find sometimes what gave you some pleasure before, even before you had kids or while you were working. What is it that gave you, some peace in your own home, and start doing that again.
Mhm.
You know, for some people, it's take a bath, fill the tub up with bubble bath and put some candles around, turn the lights off in the bathroom, put some music on and just lay back and relax. Maybe you like exercising,
Yeah,
then
that's
you
it.
know, then you do that part.
Mhm.
Singing, you know, we're
Yeah.
old, we got some old Michael Jackson and some old Prince, and sometimes everybody just gets in the room, we all just dance and just laugh at each other.
And dance and
Fine.
have my fun.
It is. And I'm telling you, as long as my kids are alive, Michael Jackson and Prince will always have fans because they know all the songs, but it's do something that, you know, makes the joy come back. And you have to identify that for yourself. But you need to let your kids know that they need to identify it in them too. That, you know, whatever it was that make them, maybe they jump rope, they can go out in the garage and put some music on and act silly if they want to. Watch some cartoons. Do something that's, you know, just, and that is self-care because it just takes you back to a time when things were calm and you know, there was joy every day when you got up, or you know, just it made you feel good. So how about some Tom and Jerry? You know, how about some, I don't know, Popeye, whoever. But just to make that time, just like in your schedule, there has to be a little bit of scheduled time in there that says, you know, relaxation. It's a self-care.
Yeah.
Release the stress.
Hey, Sister Kemp, I see your hand is up.
Um, uh, I exercise outside on my bike, and we take walks.
Wonderful.
That's a good thing.
I love it.
That's all right.
Yeah. We have the
Good.
army.
So anything that you can do to make you feel good, those are great things. Sometimes resting, taking a nap, taking a good shower.
Someone says that they go on daily walks. They love taking pictures of nature and all the wonderful creatures they come
Yes.
across that others may take for granted. Check out my Facebook page and see them. I've also been painting and creating jewelry. My granddaughter and I play old games I played when I was a child. Pixie sticks, matching games, etc.
And Jax. Yeah.
I love it.
Mhm.
Teach them how to play some card games, 500 Rummy. A lot of math skills we learned playing cards.
Spades.
Zion,
Oh, I don't know about the spades.
Spades.
Why not though? Why not?
That's right.
Go ahead,
Solitaire.
What'd you say, Pastor?
Zion, was your hand up?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes me and my dad go on our motorbike, and we just ride around the neighborhood.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it. Very good. Okay. Very good. So I challenge all of you all to find a self-care activity this week. It's Monday, so you got all week to find you something that you can do. And I think, how can I get to the
Microwave zero.
Okay, and the last one is just staying connected, and we're doing that right now. A great way to minimize anxiety is just staying connected to people that you care about and that you love. Checking in on people. I have tried to make myself a list to call my aunts that I know live alone, or a cousin that I don't talk to very often, people from the church. So just staying connected, doing these Zoom calls. I love it, you know, doing the Bible studies that we've had, and we just had Sunday school on Saturday, so we can still see each other and talk to each other, and that helps for all of us to stay grounded. And if possible, find someone that you can share and express your frustrations with, because there are frustrations that are going on during this time. So if there's somebody that you can talk to and process your feelings with, definitely do that. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or a therapist, but you need to talk about it and get those things out. So this is a book that the link doesn't work. I'll show it to you at the end because I'll have to come out and come back in. This is just self-care activities for kids. It's a list of 80 plus. I'm gonna see if I can get Harold to put it on the website. But things like going for a hike, taking a nap, riding your bike, eating your favorite dessert, doing a puzzle, reading a book that you wanted to read, go outside and gaze at the stars. So none of this stuff has to cost money, but they're just things that make you feel good. So finding some things that you can do to make you feel good, even in this time where we can't go, because one of my good self-cares now is a good massage that I can't go get right now. But you got to have some backups for those times that you can't. Anything you can do to just make yourself feel better. This is a sample of a schedule. Trinity and I used this before her school issued the real schedule that they have now. But she did appreciate that there was a beginning and an ending to all this stuff. I know what's coming next. And we, twerked it around a little bit because we didn't always go outside. But I love that the academic time in the morning was no electronics. So she had to read an actual book or do a word search. Or we found things to do that were academic without electronics. Creative time. We wrote a letter to her grandma. We used Legos. We painted things that you can get from Walmart. Cooking. She could help me cook. Doing chores in the day, helping fold clothes, put things away, but having some type of schedule so that they have things that they know are going to fill their day and they can kind of anticipate what's coming next. So my takeaways from this presentation is I just want you to know we're all in a state of stress and you're not alone if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. While we're taking care of ourselves, pay attention to your kids, their signs and symptoms, talk with them about what's going on so that you can get inside their head as to what they're thinking. And the 6 points were to be calm and reassuring, have honest conversations with them, develop routines, manage their screen time, and teach and practice self-care and staying connected. And I love this. I found this on Facebook last week. I love this. I'm gonna read it for those of you who can't see it. It says, "Dear parents, don't stress about schoolwork. In September, I will get your children back on track. I'm a teacher and that's my superpower. What I can't fix is social emotional trauma that will prevent the brain from learning. So right now, I just need you to share your calm, share your strength, share your laughter with your children. No kids are ahead and no kids are behind. Your children are exactly where they need to be. With all the love, all the teachers on the planet." And I 100% agree with this. I do not want any parent to stress. You're not a teacher. This is uncertain times. This is uncharted territory. Do the best you can to have them read a book or something every day, do a little math, but please don't stress yourself out. It's our job to take care of that. When they come back to school, we'll figure it out because everybody is on pause right now. So they're not gonna miss nothing if they don't do 16 worksheets a day. So take the pressure off yourself, parents, and just relax and spend some time with your kids, get to know them, talk to them, and calm their fears because they are scared too.
Yeah.
That's all I have. So Ms. Beeman, I know you had some other information, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and we can chat a little bit more.
Okay. All right. The things that I really want to emphasize is that children process things differently than we process them. And so one of the most important things that I used to tell my parents is that you need to let them tell you what it is that they know, so you can hear how they've processed things. So if you ask them, tell me what do you know about this whole corona thing? When they tell you, you will understand how they have processed what they saw, what they watched on TV, and it might be very different than what you thought they knew. This, even with older children, one of the things that the older kids always would say was, nobody ever really talks to me. They ask me, well, how was school today? But how was school? And they just say, okay, and then that's the end of it. But that's not a conversation. If someone would say, what was so hard about today for you? Or what was the best part of your day? Then it gives them a chance. It's like an open-ended question to give them a chance to really talk to you again. That's why we had said in the beginning that as parents, you need to have your facts first. But then the question to your kids needs to be, tell me what you know. Tell me what you've learned so you can actually find out whether they've processed this information, or are they thinking that everybody's going to die? Or, you know, what are they thinking about? So if they can tell you, then, you know, you can break it down into whatever language you think they will understand to try to give them some accurate information. But beyond all that, it's just, you know, helping them identify that the feelings that they have are the feelings that all people have. God has blessed us with all of these feelings, you know, and stress brings out some of the strongest ones, the anger and the resentment, and sometimes even the rage, because things are so out of control. But helping them to talk to you about really how they feel, what they know, and then just to me, it's just emphasize with them that you are in charge of this house. You're in charge of this house. And my job is really going to keep us safe and healthy.
That's right.
And even if, you know, we have to go back to do some of the things that I did for you when you were 5. If you need me to cuddle with you at night before you go to sleep to reassure you, then that's what we're going to do. Do I need to read you a story? You might be 16, but tell me what it is that you need that's going to reassure you that this is going to be okay. And they will believe you because, you know, you don't realize how important you are to them in normal times. But at this time, you are kind of everything because they can't get it from any place else. They're not going to be with their friends. It's not going to be conversations at the lunch table, you know, or when they're having recess or on the bus. They're going to be getting most of the information from you, and you want it to be true and accurate, but you also want to take in consideration how old they are, what do they already know, and what have they already been through. So if you're dealing with a child who's had some kind of traumas already in their life, this can really be like the end of just so many bad things. But it's how you're going to present it. If you're calm, look at Vanessa's face. If you're talking to that face and she's quietly calm and looks like, you know, she's just a strong woman, then you're going to feel the same way. But if you're all hyped up and you get, and your phone, you're answering your phone while you're talking to me, or your TV is on while you're talking to me. It's like this conversation needs to be just like we have been, face to face, eye to eye, letting them know that you're giving them your full attention, because this is so important to you that we're not having any distractions right now. This is just going to be you and me, and we're going to talk about things that are important for you and important for your health. And that's my biggest emphasis with dealing with children, because this is trauma. This is not knowing from day to day whether you're going to survive, whether someone's going to bring that virus into your house, whether your parents are going to be okay. This can be something that's going to affect them as an adult for the rest of their life. And so we want to, they say, mitigate it. We want to lessen the chance that this is going to be a traumatic effect on the rest of their lives. We want them to know that there's strength in their family and there's strength to overcome obstacles. And this is one of those ways that we're going to do this. We're going to be calm and we're going to plan things out and we're going to be reassuring, and we're not going to get upset about some of the things that you do that we know you're probably too old to be doing, but because of the stress, you might be, you know, regressing a little bit, and that's okay, because our love for you is going to be more important, and our caring for you is going to be the most important thing. And that's just it. And then using because we can't keep everything. We really are not, the be all end all of everything. We need help as grown. We need help no matter what we've been through, no matter what we're trained to do. That's why we always use supervision in mental health, because you have to have someone to help you process what you've taken from somebody else. You would go home with you would explode just trying to deal with all the stuff that kids would bring to you. So you have to have a way of processing your own stuff. You need somebody to help you process this experience also. So it's not a sign of weakness when you try to reach out to talk to somebody about how you're feeling with all the things that are going on. It's a sign of strength to realize that you don't have all the answers, but that you can get help from friends or family or from your pastor or, just a missionary, someone that that can help you, that you have confidence in, that, everything is going to be okay. So that's it. Next time, old people.
Way of life as for as follows.
So we hope that you guys got some good information from this session that you can use and share, with other parents that you may know who are experiencing this. And Miss Beeman and I are both available if you need some additional conversation offline. Please, hit us up. But we all in this together, and we're just here to do what's best for our babies.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bowles. Thank you, Ms. Beeman. Before I let them go, does anyone have any questions for them? Dr. Bowles has a missionary prayer call that she has to get to, but do any of you have any questions for them?
Question. I'm sorry, I jumped on a little late. I was on another conference call, but can you talk can you briefly talk about babies or toddlers? I know they don't understand it. They don't see some of the impacts that the older kids do, but I've noticed Cameron actually has noticed that his sort of routine has changed, where he's wanting to go to the car and get in the car. And can you just briefly talk about, because you can't explain things to them like you can someone that's 6 or 7 or older, but what can you do or suggest for the younger kids that may not quite understand or have any idea what's going on?
I agree with you 100%. Even though we can't, or he can't tell us, kids are very aware of what's going on. And you said it right on. He knows that his routine is different. And children can also feel our energy. If we are uptight, stressed, I've counseled families before, and parents, are having difficulties, and they'll say, well, we don't ever argue in front of the children, but the children can feel that something's not right. Yeah. So for younger children, in whatever language he can understand, just giving him those solid statements, things are different. We have to do this now. Soon we will be back to where we are. And those same things, reassuring, hugging. He probably isn't at an age to understand coronavirus or anything like that, but he does understand that we have to stay inside to remain safe, but trying to spend as much time with him as you can, love on him as much as you can. If you see him being worried, giving him in the language that he'll understand, reassurance that things are going on, but we're safe, and soon we'll be back to our normal routine. Ms. Beeman, did you have anything else?
I just thought when they're really young that way, and you're right, they can feel things, but their routine is set by you. And so but if you plan ahead of time and say, okay, so we're not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z, but let's plan, the grown-ups plan. Let's do something else during that time that we normally would have taken a car ride. That maybe we'll just play ball inside the house and something new to distract them, to change their schedule a little bit. So they might realize that it's not the same schedule, but because you've introduced something new and different and just as much fun. They'll go along with your schedule.
Right.
They're very flexible.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, any other questions or comments for them?
Nope.
Well, I thank you, ladies. And I thank all of you for getting on. This does affect our children, and I don't want us as parents to think that it's just us, but it also affects them. There is the anxiety of school. There is the cabin fever, being in the house all the time, and I just I told my wife yesterday that it just amazes me that my family doesn't enjoy being with me 24/7. That's just so hard for me.
They're not used to it.
But you know, our children need their own space, and so I just want to encourage you to go back and watch the presentation on YouTube. We'll try to make it available, make the PowerPoints available for you, and call these ladies. They ain't that busy. Call them.
We ain't doing too much.
Yeah, they're just sitting at home. Call them, and I'm pretty sure that they would take the time to help you navigate these waters. You can call me, and what I can't do, I can refer you to them.
And you know, Pastor,
we
you
want
just made me
our
think.
children to be all right as we deal with this.
And
All right, everybody. God bless you. Thank you. I'm going to ask if there are no more questions. Dr. Bowles has to go to the missionary call. I'm going to ask if our Sunday school Sister Benita Page, who is becoming a Zoom aficionado, if she would close us out in a word of prayer.
Let us pray. Oh Lord, our Heavenly Father, once again, Lord, you have given us the capability to come together virtually and to see each other's faces. Lord, we're thankful that you have given us professionals in our family that are able to give us the wisdom or the knowledge to assist us during this pandemic. Lord, we thank you for their knowledge. We thank you for their words. We thank you for their patience to be able to bring this to us, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for opening our eyes to see all of the changes that this world is bringing to us. Now, Lord, we ask a special blessing on this evening, Lord, on every household. Let us be mindful that we are in this together, that we are in this together, that we are in this together. Give us the patience and the love and the consideration that we all desire. This is what we ask in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Before you guys log off, I just want to recognize that Donalia Cooper, who is a teacher in Johnston County, North Carolina, she just logged on at the prayer. So we're going to make this available on our YouTube. Is that right, Harold? It'll be available on our YouTube. Sister Cooper, you can go on there and you can catch that. And if need be, actually, I will make sure that Dr. Bowles can get to you the PowerPoint as well. All right. She is a teacher. She is a teacher. She is dealing with 4 children at home. So I'm so glad that she was able to log on. I just hate that she logged on. All right. You guys have a good night.
Night.
Thank you.
See ya. Night.
Good night.
Good night.